no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Boy, you got your right here. I don't see no right here. Why don't you? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Yo, link arms up. Link arms so they can't take it.
Fucked up! Fucking pigs! Where's Zara? No!
Yeah, they start grabbing people.
You're terrorists! You're fucking terrorists!
This is what they do!
This is what they fucking do!
This is what National does!
Cowards! Cowards!
Nikita, where you at?
Look at it. You worry about Vegas closing? Look at that. Okay, go. Oh shit! Oh shit!
Where do you want us to go? No, because y'all tricked us last time. Let us cross and go to our car. You tricked us last time.
Hey man, there's kids here. Yeah, we got.
Let us through.
Hey y'all, I'm gonna chime in while they all acting stupid. I saw a report not too long ago that actually made sense about why they chant and all that kind of mess. It said there was a study somewhere, I don't know where, but the majority in this study that were between the ages of 18 and 25 could not hold a telephone conversation more than 5 minutes. They speak in repetitive, short sentences. They say they do not have the capability to form full sentences and carry on a lengthy conversation. They can't do it. They blamed it on too much, internet, social media, text message, that kind of thing, but it kind of makes sense. They have no clue what to say in this kind of stuff. They just do it. So, I don't know. If there's something to it, I'm not sure. But it is what they said. So I thought it was interesting anyhow.
Yo, link arms up. Link arms so they can't take it. Yeah, they start grabbing people.
You're terrorists! You're fucking terrorists!
This is what they do!
This is what they fucking do!
This is what Metro does!
Terrorists!
Nikita, where you at?
You worried about Vegas closing? Look at that. Okay, go.
And by the way, as most of you know, I'm into the whole UFO thing with my website and whatnot. So, wanted to throw this out there. And I don't know why the video keeps doing that. But nonetheless, Trump signals he has interesting details on Roswell as son grills him about aliens. So they had kind of an impromptu interview. Trump Jr. interviews him, a whole Father's Day thing. And Trump says he's got information about Roswell. Now, what does he have? I don't know. But it's interesting in the aspect of if he could get his hands on this information, could he possibly use it as a threat against the Democrats? Kind of you hand over Hillary and or Obama, or I'm going to release everything. And Hillary is a believer completely in the UFO thing. That's on record. So, you know, he said he had interesting details, was his quote. This came out about 12 hours ago. So, you know, it's hard to say, but there could be something to it. People think smokescreen a lot, but, you know, there comes a time when some stuff could be legit. You can't dismiss everything until you find out more information about it. Well, I mean, Roswell is just the beginning. You know, once you open up that can of worms, I mean, it goes everywhere. There's 1,000,001 directions you can take it. But, you know, maybe he does have some info. Who knows? Yeah, there was the whole Jackie Gleason thing. I remember reading about that. But my favorite case, though, of like all times, was Eisenhower, Holloman Air Force Base. When Eisenhower supposedly got on board of a craft, made a pact, I guess you would call it, with the aliens that said, if you give us some technology, we'll let you abduct a human once in a while. And shortly after that, there was an increase in technology as well as an increase in abduction cases. So, I don't know. Go figure. And people would have had no idea about that at that time. You know, one way or another. So, I don't know. Lots of craziness. Well, the craft supposedly landed on the runway. He boarded the craft. They done their thing, and then he left. I don't think it ever went anywhere. But it was interesting, you know, to say the least. Yeah, we can't be the only ones for sure. Now, what I'm curious about as well is if Trump or anybody else was to release everything, I mean, it'd cause craziness on Earth for sure, but what would the aliens think? How would they react to all of their stuff being thrown out there? Who knows? You know, that's something a lot of people I never said any aliens made us. I'm definitely not atheist. Well, I don't think they showed them to him either, but whoops. I don't know if he knows anything or has access to it. He could be waiting for the right moment. I mean, that's a huge strategic bit of information to have, so to speak. So you wouldn't just spill it right away. You'd wait until it was beneficial, let's say. I don't think he would. Not right away. I think he would spill, but not instantly. That's the thing. Because I've noticed in the past that when other countries, whether it be Russia, the UK, even China, have threatened to release all their UFO files, we seem to step in and do something. Whether it be sanctions or, of course we say for other reasons. But we always end up doing something and then they decide not to do it. So, I don't know. I'm going to see if I can find another video feed, though. I think this one's on repeat now. So give me a minute here. See what I can drum up here. There's bound to be something out there. Even though I'm not finding a whole lot. There was a shooting earlier in Atlanta that was caught live streamed. I don't think so, Steve. I don't think that's the reason. Yeah, when War of the Worlds happened, that was a huge deal. My grandparents have told me about how people reacted and whatnot. But I don't think that's their number one concern. I've always thought, regardless of what the rest of the world thinks, of us, the U.S., and all that, we're still number one. We're still top dog, So, if we were to finally come out and prove once and for all that it was all real, we're no longer, have any power. We gave up our complete superpower status and we're nothing. One thing I refuse to do is wear a face mask. Forget it. I got another feed here. This one's stable. See what's going on here. Just music at the moment. But, yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, to say the least. I haven't wore a mask since this whole stupid pandemic was conjured up. So there's quite a bit of stuff going on. And if a store wants me to wear a mask, I'll go somewhere else. Yeah, those are just street cam videos that Chop Ain't nobody really on the ground. Yeah, the Trump rally's tomorrow, so there's that. Yeah, it's all live. They vandalized the state house here, screwed it all up. They can make any rule they want, but still can't get me to abide by it. Make all the regulations and rules you want. I'm still not going to wear it. What are they going to do? Send me to jail and then turn me loose because COVID's too bad in jail? Yeah, we've had a few car wrecks in my state, Brian, over that. People wearing masks in their car and then they can't breathe and pass out. Wreck. I don't think anybody got seriously hurt or anything, but it's happened. Can't breathe in them things. Because if you're at any job, I'm in Ohio, if you're at any job that requires a mask or anything, all the time, like for painting or around chemicals, you wear a respirator. Masks are for short term because you can't breathe. A respirator's actually got the filter cartridges, so you're not recycling your own breath. Yeah, exactly. CO2 retention. You'll end up feeling like you're drowning. And plus, you got to be fitted for just about every kind of mask, in a job setting. I've seen crocheted masks, stupid stuff. At least the crocheted one's got enough holes in it that, Well, I understand the compromised immune system with people, but still, that's a lot different though, because that's your choice. If you want to wear a mask for certain occasions, I'm okay with that. But don't force me to wear one. If I don't want to, I won't. But if you want to, go for it. And I can understand around someone like that. But that's not, one of those situations where you need to wear it 24/7 kind of thing. But the whole virus thing's all just a bunch of hype anyway. There's not that much to it. I mean, there's been thousands upon thousands of these protesters, rioters, and whatnot running everywhere, and you don't hear nothing. If it was going to be spread, it would be in these areas with all the rioting. My state's stupid on masks too, though. Like, they just opened the horse race tracks here a couple weeks ago. Tonight was actually the first night of where spectators could go. But it's harness racing, so you got the sulky, the guy in the cart behind the horse, and those guys have to wear a mask because while you're going around the track, at 40, 50 mile an hour or whatever, you can't social distance. So those guys riding them horses around there have to wear a mask. That is the dumbest thing. Our county fair starts tomorrow. I'm going to go out and watch the horses and see if anybody has to wear a mask there. They probably will. There won't really be anybody there to enforce it, but at the main track there could be, though. I mean, that's pretty good size racetrack. But to wear a mask while you're in the middle of a horse race, that is just stupid. Yeah, harness racing is really popular around here. It's pretty much all we got anyway, but I like it. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid stuff that just don't add up at all. Hey, speaking of Michigan, anybody that's here, we got, I don't know, 40 some of us. Anybody got any interest at all in the Bigfoot kind of thing? I'm not really into it, but I've read some interesting stories lately. You know, there's supposed to be a video, but I haven't seen it yet. But there's been some Bigfoot news popping around out of Detroit, Michigan. And what some people are saying is that these supposed witnesses, let me back up a minute. My podcast producer, he's into the whole Bigfoot thing, and he put me on one of their Facebook pages from Michigan. But anyway, some people said they had been riding around Detroit looking at some of the abandoned homes because they sell them, you know, for cheap. And people have said that they've actually seen Bigfoots living in the abandoned homes in Detroit on the outskirts of town. Not right in the heart of the city, but on the edges. That Bigfoots are living in the abandoned homes. I don't know. Podcast is Paranormal Road. You can find it on, I don't know, Podbean, and there's a few other places that'll probably show up. Facebook's got it. But my actual part of it is usually a shorter segment of the Haddix Report, my last name. But I do a UFO segment, not on every podcast, but on quite a few. And I just done a full podcast about a week ago. That's on my Facebook page. Now, if you want to check out all my UFO stuff, if you have an interest, that's my UFO page, and you can see all the other links down at the bottom. YouTube, I got a YouTube channel for it, and the Facebook page. Yeah, I'll show the video real quick of the girl getting shot. Hang on. I gotta find it. I gotta pull up the channel. Here it is. Alright, here we go. I'll play this real quick. And I'll shut up while it plays.
Side of the game. That's what I'm talking about. That right there.
605.
That's what I'm talking about.
They advise any location on where this mail is going to be, or possibly we can get a call out.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
The call back, the only thing I have is Target, white vehicle, red t-shirt, black jeans. Stand by, I'll
I
get the
wish I
cab
could
call.
own me a pistol. Man, that's the shit.
1225.
That's what I'm talking about. Who wanted that smoke? Hey, IP2, you happy
Copy
now?
that. Yep.
Oh shit. Gunfight. Oh fuck. Let me get behind the car. Hold on. Let me get behind the car, y'all. Let me get behind the car. What the hell happened? Hold on. Get behind the car. Yeah. Get behind the car. They got the chopper right there. Oh shit. Fuck, get down, get down! Oh, you okay? You okay? You hit? You hit? She's hit? She's hit? You hit? She's hit? She's hit. It almost hit me. It almost hit me. Hey, call the ambulance. Hey, get her. Hey, she's hit.
By then, somewhere between Kroger and Office
Right by
Depot.
me. No, it's in her leg. Hold on. Tie something around her legs right here.
I'll keep her.
Yeah, she's shot. You got tied.
Copy.
We don't know who, man.
It's the guy in the fucking...
Who got some rag? Hey, can you use your do-rag or something around her?
Over there. He went that way.
Hold on. She got shot. That shit went right by me and hit her. That shit went right by me and hit her in the leg. She shot. A girl is shot. Stop shooting. A girl is shot. Stop shooting. God damn it. Oh, you hear that ping? Watch out. Watch out. A girl got shot.
Come on! Pick her up, let's go! She got shot, nigga!
I think it went all the way through.
Yeah, the tourniquet.
So that's what happened. I was going to play the Amber Lamps clip, but I can't find it. I got it somewhere, but I can't find it. I don't know. I'll have to see if I can track it down. Ah, here we go.
Ambulance! Where the ambulance? Why the man's body still right there? Ain't supposed to be laying there. Call the damn ambulance!
Whoa, Black Betty.
Damn ambulance!
Whoa, Black Betty.
Damn ambulance!
Black Betty had a child.
Damn ambulance!
The damn thing gone wild.
Damn ambulance!
Said a word, not a mind.
The ambulance!
The damn thing gone blind. Ambulance.
Yeah. Gotta have some of the Amber Lamps, man. Look, that wearing a mask with your nose hanging out. That's about stupid. Hey, thanks for the donation, too. Always appreciated. Yeah, they should have called social services. I mean, really, though, these people in these masks, I swear. I don't know. Maybe she ain't wearing it for that reason. Maybe she got like a big old zit or something on her chin and she's trying to hide it. Look at her mouth. Look like one of them Muppets. Like Sesame Street. That's what she looks like. I have no idea. You know, it's hard to say. Something I have thought of, though, Matt, is, well, the Democrats or the left, whatever name you want to give them, they've all been saying they've been getting massive amounts of tickets for the rally just to, you know, burn up the amount of tickets that are out there. But my thought has been, let's say you get, oh, I don't know, half a dozen or so leftists to go there, pose as Trump supporters, but each one of those leftists has the actual virus. Maybe they could go there to spread it. They've threatened it already in the past. And it wouldn't matter if nobody got really deathly sick or died. That wouldn't matter. It's just the headline would be Trump rally spreads coronavirus. You know, it wouldn't make any difference about anything else. Oh yeah, we can't have live music, they say, either, because if somebody's blowing through like a trumpet or a saxophone or something, then you're blowing COVID out into the air. Well, no, Trump won't tolerate anything inside the building or whatever, but outside, who knows? But yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of craziness for sure. I don't know. Biden, he's weird. Yeah, Matt, they did escort a bunch of the people that's been waiting. I don't know, they moved them somewhere. Yeah, there's just so much craziness going on. I mean, you just don't know from one day to the next, but well, Biden, I mean, everybody thinks Biden's got dementia, but it ain't that. Biden's problem is sniffing hairspray for the last 40 years. That stuff's not good. It says right on the can, don't inhale. He's one of them huffers, Yeah, I said huffer, not heifer. But you just, I don't know, it's just crazy. Man, well, it's the 20th now, but yeah, my state, which like I said, Ohio, up at the Capitol, Columbus, well, they tore down Christopher Columbus' statue. They're talking about renaming the city, but their Democratic worthless mayor up there, Ginther, he signed a thing saying that it's an official holiday now, Juneteenth, June 19th, when the slaves were free. But, I got a question about this whole Juneteenth thing, They say June 19th when the slaves were free. I've been everywhere, and I still ain't found nowhere to get a free slave. I mean, was it something you had to, apply for ahead of time, or were they all gone, or did I miss an email, or, I don't know. It said June 19th, they's free, but I figured save a couple bucks, but I don't know, I couldn't find it. I have to be a little more prepared for next year, I guess. Well, I don't know. Oh, there's a bunch of them going on, I don't know any around here, but look at, other countries, slavery's still going on. Muslims still, do the whole slave deal and all that, but yeah, I just thought, it was a day to get a free one. I didn't know. I'm kind of new to that whole thing. Now, one of the top suggestions, Sean, is Flavortown. off of that dude from that Food Network, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, or whatever. That Guy Ferretti, or whatever the heck his name is. That was kind of his saying, and that's what people's wanting. And people's stupid. Yeah, him. I remember a while back somebody stole his Camaro. He got it back though. But that's a nice car. Oh, I wanted to show y'all something. Totally unrelated. Those of you from Twitch probably might remember, Sean might. A while back I showed a video one night. It was about, I don't know, 10 minutes long, something like that. And it was of a painting that I had done for my dad for Christmas a couple years ago. A spray paint piece, Western scenery. Well, I done something else with that design. So let me get it real quick and I'll show you. It turned out way better than I expected. I had a lot of help getting it done, but nonetheless, it got done. So there you go. Yeah. So I had it put on the back of Dad's truck the other day. They done a really good job. Yeah, the colors match like perfect. A friend of mine actually done the editing to make it all work out, but yeah, that turned out way better than I thought. That actual painting is hanging on in the living room. But yeah, you can see straight through it. When you look from the inside, you can't tell it's there. It's 100% invisible. When I walked into the shop to get it, I was looking, at the front of the truck. So I couldn't even tell they'd done it until I went around the back. That's a 2011 Colorado 4-door. But yeah, that turned out really well. So I done it for him for Father's Day. I think I've got it here on my desktop somewhere. Excuse me. I thought I did. I got a picture somewhere of the original painting. There it is. There's the original painting. They cut live PD because you're not allowed to show black people getting arrested. So yeah, that's the original painting there. So there was a lot of work involved getting it to the final stage, but it looks cool regardless. But that's all done with spray paint. Every bit of it. Just spray paint. Yeah, that was it, Diggle. Yeah, I showed it that night on Twitch. But yeah, they're banning everything. Live PD's gone. Cops is gone. Nah, Dan fought hard to keep live PD on. He was all over Twitter, saying, he's been fighting it tooth and nail, Done everything he could. Tried to find new networks. Dan tried. I think he just wanted a paycheck, but, whatever. But Paw Patrol's gone, the cartoon with the dog dressed up like cop. Aunt Jemima is gone. Mrs. Butterworth's syrup's on the chopping block. That Dindu on the cream of wheat box, he's gone. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's just getting chopped. I thought Dan would have had a little more pull, tell you the truth. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it'll sell or not. But nonetheless, I put a box of Uncle Ben's rice, a bottle of syrup, and a box of pancake mix up on eBay. Trying to sell it since it's going to be banned. Other people have been selling it. Mine hasn't done anything as of yet, but I got a watcher though. So, I don't know, maybe it'll go. Who knows? I need to go change it though, because I got it listed for too long. I should have only put it at 7 days. But yeah, like everything's racist or some stupid stuff. You know, in the past, even if I didn't agree with it, you know, you could kind of wrap your head around it and see where they come up with these crazy ideas. You know, what they're calling racist or offensive or whatever. Like I say, might not agree, but now, none of it even makes sense. It's all just, I don't know, gibberish. Yeah, Eskimo pies, I forgot about that. Gone with the Wind, that's out of here. They had Elmo talking to his dad on Sesame Street or something about, you know, racism or whatever, I don't know. It's just, yeah, Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes. They got rid of the guns off of there. Yeah, those were real people, sure. And that black woman on Gone with the Wind, she was the first woman to ever, black woman to ever win an Oscar. Well, they got rid of her. All the Confederate stuff's going away. I'm going to show something here if I can find it. Give me a second here. Yeah, this is a 4-minute video that I had to watch for class the other day. I want to see what y'all think about it. I've got my opinion, but I'll hold that in reserve until the end. 4 minutes, so just bear with it. See what you think. See if anybody agrees with me. Let me back it up here.
Line up, everybody line up. We're about to race. Everybody line up. Shoulder to shoulder. Take off your backpacks. Basketball, line up. We're about to race. Hey, we are racing for a $100 bill. The winner of this race will take this. A $100 bill. Before I say go, I'm going to make a couple statements. If those statements apply to you, I want you to take 2 steps forward. If those statements don't apply to you, I want you to stay right where you're at. Take 2 steps forward if both of your parents are still married. Take 2 steps forward if you grew up with a father figure in the home. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a private education. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a free tutor growing up. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to worry about your cell phone being shut off. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to help mom or dad with the bills. Take 2 steps forward if it wasn't because of your athletic ability, you don't have to pay for college. Take 2 steps forward if you never wondered where your next meal was going to come from. I want you guys up here in the front just to turn around and look. Every statement I've made has nothing to do with anything any of you have done. Has nothing to do with decisions you've made. Everything I have said has nothing to do with what you've done. We all know these people up here have a better opportunity to win this $100. Does that mean these people back here can't race? No. We would be foolish to not realize we've been given more opportunity. We don't want to recognize that we've been given a head start. But the reality is we have. Now, there's no excuse. They still got to run their race. You still got to run your race. But whoever wins this $100, I think it'd be extremely foolish of you not to utilize that and learn more about somebody else's story. Because the reality is, if this was a fair race and everybody was back on that line, I guarantee you some of these black dudes would smoke all of you. And it's only because you have this big of a head start that you're possibly going to win this race called life. That is a picture of life, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing you've done has put you in the lead that you're in right now. When I say go, on your mark, get set, go! If you didn't learn anything from this activity, you're a fool.
So yeah, we had to watch out for class. And that is the pure definition of white guilt. Those people were there made to feel guilty. And they weren't all white, I'm sure, but nevertheless. And the comment section on that video is blown up with, oh, it's so moving, I cried, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it is a Christian college I'm going to, but regardless of that, it just... You know, those kids up front were made to feel guilty. There's no other way to look at it. Yeah, it's like, you know, nobody had anything to do with where they were in that line or formation, but well, I watched a video the other day. I didn't save it or anything, but it was from some black guy, and he made a lot of sense. He showed a neighborhood that he came from, and it was a rough area wherever it was. He pointed out, there was a murder here, a murder there, or whatever. And he says the biggest problem with the black community, because he dealt with it personally, was if you become successful from anything other than music or sports, then you're no longer considered black. He became successful, I'm not sure doing what, but business of some sort. And he said his lifelong black friends and family disowned him. They said that, they didn't want anything to do with him anymore, because by doing better for himself and getting, out of those situations and having a decent life, then he's no longer black. All he wants to do, Uncle Tom kind of thing, turncoat. That you're supposed to stay in that, mindset or lifestyle, whatever, if you're truly black. Otherwise, you're just trying to copy the white man's world. And that's stupid, but, people's image around their immediate, family, friends, neighbors, whatever, that's all that seems to matter. So I don't know, it's just kind of a messed up way to think, but in reality though, I don't care what group you want to look at, but the people that work the hardest to get where they are usually the best kind of people. Because if you have look at all the YouTube videos, there's thousands of them, of all them spoilt kids that, they turn 16 and mom buys them a brand new Mustang and they get mad and flip out and refuse to drive it because it's not the right color, or, the statistic thing I heard a while back that the average teenager now, this was about a year ago, gets $70 a week allowance and has 2 cell phones. The kids need 2 cell phones because if they're with their one group of friends, they're iPhone users, so they got to have an iPhone to fit in. Well, if tomorrow night they want to hang out with another group, well, they might be Android users, so they got to have a phone to fit in with that. So, that kind of stuff. And when it's all handed to you, it has zero meaning. It's worthless. And we've all experienced that in life, I'm sure. I can guarantee it. Maybe as a kid or something, you didn't realize the value of stuff until you had to earn it. And I kind of went through that as a kid. I remember, and it was a good example, was I was probably middle school, and it was that time of year, to get some new school clothes. Never anything fancy, but just some new clothes. And I wanted all this stuff that was expensive, and, mom's like trying to explain to me why it ain't a good idea. And she finally says, all right, here's the catalog you're going to order from. Here's how much money you got to spend. Get whatever you want. Well, I quickly realized if I wanted the higher end stuff, I could get it. But I'm going to be stuck with probably 1 or 2 changes of clothes for the entire year because I ain't going to have no money to buy nothing else. And it really taught me that none of that stuff matters. It's like, who cares? So it was a good lesson to learn on my own. I worked with a black guy as a teenager, worked at McDonald's, I mean, he was cool though. He was the most racist black guy I ever met though. I mean, he hated black people with a passion. He I mean, he was right out there. I mean, he would have joined the Klan, I think, if they'd have let him. But he could do anything at work. He was a good worker no matter what, but he got away with anything because they was scared to death to ever say anything to him. They was afraid he'd pull a race card. And I don't think he would have, but they was always scared of it. Well, yeah, there's countless stories out there of people being hired solely based on the color of their skin. You know, hey, I don't care if you're green, purple, black, or whatever. If you're the most qualified for the job, you should get it. But if you're not, well, sorry. If you're from what I've read, if you're black now, well, not just black, but that's kind of where most of it goes, then you now get bonus points on college, tests like ACT and that kind of stuff. You now get bonus points for either your race or your zip code. If you lived in a bad area growing up, then you get bonus points. But a lot of colleges are throwing out the tests all the way around because it's not, they say it's racist to test people or something. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And other areas are following suit. Well, what was it, last summer, I believe it was in, I'm wanting to say Mississippi, down in that area. There was a college there that shut down for like 3 days, had counselors out and all this mess because somebody found a banana peel in a tree and it triggered all their racial oppression or some crap. And they ended up finding the kid that threw the banana peel, and he was like, well, I was eating a banana and I was walking down the sidewalk and there wasn't no trash can. I didn't want to carry it. And he's like, I didn't want to throw it on the ground, so I just tossed it up in a tree. I mean, it was as harmless as that. But, yeah, that was all it was. Just he threw the peel up there. It had nothing to do with calling them all monkeys or anything. It wasn't none of that. He was just like, there wasn't a trash can around. I didn't want to pack around a banana peel. So I just tossed it up in a tree. Big deal. Yeah, it was completely harmless. No big deal. But yet. And then there was one in New York. This girl, she filed for disability and a whole bunch of mess. She was in a college math class, I believe. And on the back of another student's laptop, and he was a upstanding student and all this mess, he had a little sticker that was probably 1.5 inches square of the Confederate flag. And the girl saw it and had a nervous breakdown. It's like, come on. But, well, they did call the law on a boy in, I think it was New York as well, for doing math. The cops showed up. He drew the square root symbol, and they said he was drawing a picture of a gun and thought he was going to be a school shooter. So they had to, come talk to him and figure out what his motives were, and he's like, man, I'm just doing homework. I'm like, oh my God, people just, I don't know. Nothing surprises me anymore, though. It's a crazy world we live in. Like a bad carnival ride, and you just want to get off. How long you been racist? I'd be like, well, how long you been here? Can't we just send all these people back somewhere else? Like, just get rid of them, you know? I mean, they obviously don't like this country, so send them away. I don't care what color you are. If you're on that side of the aisle, you know, there's millions upon millions of acres of undeveloped land in Africa. You know, go over there and do your thing. You can set up all the chazes you want and no cop zones and build your statues and whatever else you want to do. Well, there's never been a great civilization over there, other than Egypt, but they're kind of a different deal. But, you know, forget Egypt and look at the rest of the place, and it's the same way now as it's been 10,000 years ago or whatever. Mud hut and, you know, whatever else. So I don't know. Well, they're not going to get my Confederate flag. Unless they cut my arm off, because it's tattooed on my arm. I mean, look at South Africa. There's a good example. That was an okay place at one time. It sure ain't now. Yeah, I don't know. And it's not even trying to be racist or anything. I mean, they're just facts. You know, I don't consider it a racist attitude if it's factual. I mean, that's just me, but maybe I'm wrong as far as that goes. But if you can back it up with facts, I mean, it is what it is. You're right, Brian. Yeah, you're exactly right. I was going to start a GoFundMe account. Try to get enough money to buy a boat. Like, ain't one of them cruise liners that, you know, hurting for money. Maybe they'll sell us a boat, you know, pretty cheap. Like Carnival Cruise or Princess Cruise or whatever. We can buy one. They hold a bunch of people. Just send it over there. But I didn't think GoFundMe would let me do it. Well, it really wouldn't be a GoFundMe. I don't need to, you know, go anywhere. It's to GoFund them. You know, I pay for it. You know, I mean, I'm sure we could, like, you know, get a bunch of people together to, like, help them pack and stuff, you know. Try to make it as effortless as possible. But yeah, it's, I don't know, it's just all craziness. I mean, what can you say? Just never for a moment think it can't get worse. Because it definitely will. But at the same time, though, as crazy as it sounds, we could learn a thing or two from some of these nuts. You know, the mindset. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, look, they're organized to the point that they're not afraid. Yes, they got a lot of things on their side, but regardless, you know, that's kind of the right, or whatever you want to call it, the Patriots' problem. We can't get organized. You know, people have mentioned this before. I think Sean's even said it, you know, on Twitch in the past. But when you look at a lot of whether it be pro-gun, pro-constitution, whatever, whenever they have protests and rallies, it turns into like a barbecue. People's too worried about where we going to go get dinner, or, you know, buying a t-shirt to commemorate it or something. You know, nobody has any real, you know, agenda, or, you know, no organization. You know, I've been to some gun rights rallies, and they were all right. But at the same time, when I get home, people's asking me, like, well, you know, did you pick me up a souvenir? Or what food vendors were there? Or, you know, was you allowed to shoot anybody? You know, stupid stuff like that. And the people are serious. I'm like, man, it's not the county fair. I mean, geez. It's... racism's a mindset. Quit acting like you're the stereotype, and things might change around for you. Act like a thug, you're going to get treated like a thug. Act like an upstanding citizen, you'll get treated as such. I mean, all these people, black, white, or otherwise, that's been killed by a cop, have all been breaking the law. Don't break the law. And if you get stopped for breaking a law or for whatever, act like you got some sense, do what the cop tells you, and move on. I'm sure a lot of us here in the chat have had some run-ins with some not so nice officers over our lives. But you act like you got some sense and do what they tell you, and you live to see another day. Exactly. Regardless of why you're stopped, could have been for questioning, and could have been a traffic stop, or whatever. You know, it really doesn't matter. You do what you're told. You want to fight it out, that's what court is for. Not the street corner. Because you ain't going to win. Yeah, I agree. I've had nice ones and not nice ones. And at the end of the day, you know, I may not have deserved everything as far as the treatment goes. I mean, it was some not so good situations. But at the end of the day, I broke the rules, so whatever. You know, It is what it is. Because I knew, regardless of how much I thought I was in the right, regardless if I was or not, I knew that me making a big scene and resisting and all that was going to end up one way. Me being shot and killed, and that's the end of me. Or I can fight it out in court. Whatever happens, happens. Pay my fine or whatever. And move on. Not necessarily. Court doesn't always have to be about rich. Yeah, you can't fight the law that way. Not on the street. It's a total waste. And that was with my experience. I don't want to get into everything that happened, but you know, the first cop that was there, he was the worst. Everybody else I dealt with through that ordeal were the nicest people. Now, of course, they couldn't let me loose. They weren't the arresting officer. But they actually told me if they had the ability to, they'd have stopped the car, opened the door, and let me go. But they couldn't. And I understood that. You know, I didn't have no quarrel with them. They were cool as could be. But, you know, things happen. Whatever. But I wasn't going to sit there and fight and scream and carry on and jump around and act a fool. Because, you know, I kind of valued my life, I guess you could say. Well, here in my state anyway, on a lot of cases, including mine, the cop does not have to appear in court. They don't have to. They don't have to be nowhere around. All they do is submit the police report to the court, and that's the end of it. You'll never see that cop again, more than likely. Now, if it's a felony case or something huge, maybe that's different. But for lower cases, you never see them. I don't know. The cop might get convicted. He shouldn't. But they're trying to appease the mob. Yeah, traffic tickets, they definitely don't. But mine was bigger than traffic ticket. But there was a cop yesterday, I believe, in Florida that was fired. And it was the dumbest thing. Well, it started out, this woman was all hopped up on dope and crashed her car and killed her kid. Okay, that's bad. You know, granted. But the cop that was fired because back in January, he had a traffic stop with this woman and failed to put into his report that the girl, the baby, was not in a car seat back in January. And that's what got the girl killed in the car wreck, you know, recently, was not in the car seat. They said if he would have put in the report that she was not in the car seat back in January, they could have stepped in and prevented what happened today. And he would have had nothing to do with the current incident. Well, the DA, or whoever that prosecutor, I mean, the black dude that charged the cop, they're trying to go right past the grand jury. They're trying to skip jury trial and go straight to sentencing. That was one of their recommendations. They want death penalty for this Wendy's drive-through cop. So, yeah, whatever he is. But yeah, they want to skip all the court stuff, and like I don't know how they'll get by with that, but oh, there'll definitely be a trial. It just depends on who they get on that jury. And that's the problem with juries. I mean, I understand the premise behind having a jury. That cop shouldn't get anything. He should get a pay raise. He was 100% in the right. And if somebody can't see that, they're blind. Well, it should be thrown out, but that's the problem, though. You know, juries are good, like I said, but it's jury selection that's a problem. If whoever's in charge of making the selection of the jurors or whatever, you know, the people on the jury, then that's the problem. It doesn't matter now, though, because the whole country's nuts. There is no place you can get an unbiased, you know, opinion. You know, that's the problem. So, you know, if you're the guy sitting there making the selection, and you really want this guy to get death penalty or life in jail or whatever, well, then you're going to make your jury selection based on people that'll more than likely go that direction. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. It's almost impossible in the court system to be completely unbiased. Everybody has a you know, their own opinion, agenda that has nothing to do with the case other than it's just personal. And just like the whatever his name was, knee on the neck guy, Floyd. You know, I've heard it said around my town, you know, well, we don't know if the cop's guilty or not because we haven't seen the entire body cam footage, which I agree with that. But they said, but even though we don't know the whole story, the cop should still get life in prison to appease the mob. You know, that's totally wrong. That lets all these nuts out here burning down buildings and stuff think that what they're doing is right. So, you can't appease the mob. Tasers can definitely kill you, but that's why cops go through special training just for tasers. Because, yeah, a taser can definitely kill you. But if used with, you know, properly, then they won't. Now, my state had done something, well, kind of went along what Trump said, but they took it a little farther. Was chokeholds are banned in the state, but now a chokehold can only be used if pulling your gun and shooting the person would also be justified. So they're comparing the two. But our governor, which I can't stand him, I didn't vote for him. But anyhow, he is wanting to have a license to be a cop. That's what his proposal is. Because as it stands in my state now, if the cop does not get convicted of a felony, if he's just fired from the job for whatever, then he can go next county over, and if they want to hire him, he can work somewhere else. So he wants a license system that the state can revoke, so then you can't be a cop nowhere in the state, the same way they do doctors with their medical license. Which, on the surface, that sounds okay. But it's who's making these decisions. It's like, well, my dad's a good example. He had the idea of, well, Maybe once a year these cops should have a psych eval to see if they're still fit to be a cop. Well, if you had an unbiased professional that went solely on, the books kind of thing, that might be okay. But you'll never get a fair opinion. If that psychiatrist that day doesn't like cops, well, you're not going to pass no matter how straight-laced you are. So, there's no way to do it. There's no way to take out people's own ideas. In the state of Georgia, yes, that's been proven by the court, yes. But yeah, if you're a black person, then the laws are null and void. You get a free pass, more or less. But, well, normally, I would agree that there is no case, but in these weird times, I mean, who knows? I mean, it's happened that way before, though. Everybody and their brother knows OJ was guilty, but he walked. Same kind of thing. I can guarantee you if the roles were reversed and it was a black cop that shot the white dude, you would have never heard about it. Guaranteed. Reasonable doubt don't even matter now. It used to, but not anymore. I don't know, Matt. I think you're right. It'll be smaller skirmishes for a time anyway. The Patriots, I guess, is just what I'm going to use as a term, can't seem to stay organized. I don't know. That's the biggest problem. I don't know if it's money, if it's fear of going to jail. That's what I hear a lot. Is, well, I can't go out there and defend anything. I might go to jail and I got a wife and kids or whatever. That's a big excuse that I hear. Now, granted, I'm not in that position, so I can't really say I have those exact feelings or whatever, but well, that is true too about being quiet, but what's it going to take? How long are you willing to stay quiet? I mean, what does it take to be the breaking point? I don't know myself, but I've always said it's going to take something that will affect every single citizen in the country at the exact same time. We're getting close. I don't even think that'll do it. Yeah, jobs, responsibility, I understand that, but I don't know. It's, we're getting close. I mean, there's these riots, protests, whatever. They're happening more and more places, but it's still not large enough to affect every single citizen. And that's the mentality that I said that we kind of need, in a way, is to get rid of the fear. Do what needs to be done and go on. I mean, I don't know. I kind of see it like if you really loved your family and all this, instead of going along to, think you're protecting them by not doing something, well, you're kind of ruining their future by not doing anything. Now, if they were to do something like, I don't know, by August 1st, all guns are banned. Every single firearm must be turned in nationwide. Guns are outlawed. Now, if they do something like that, then yeah, you're going to get mass, uprising, whatever. People are going to just go nuts. But I think it's going to be something that drastic, or it won't work. It'll take something huge. Now, that is a valid point, Matt. I have heard that thrown around. That if there's no cops, then who's going to be there to stop us from protecting our communities and our heritage, and all of that? Who's going to stop us? So, that's a valid point. If they can actually get rid of law enforcement, then yeah. Because who's going to stop you? Nobody. I mean, eventually some other force will pop up, but exactly. Just like tonight. Yeah, we got a highway patrol here. We don't really have a state police. There is a difference. Yeah, we don't have an actual state police. They're called State Highway Patrol. They can't arrest you in town. They can hold you, ticket you, can't arrest you. And then you got, tonight, the cops didn't get to do anything. I mean, which there's not many of them, I don't think, on duty right now anyhow. But July 4th, the NYPD's supposed to walk. That's the rumor anyway. Well, yeah, I do too. I mean, it's like every profession. From your, the lowest position you can think of up to the top. There's bad people in every position. But, like, look at 9/11, They said, well, we shouldn't blame all Muslims for the actions of a few. That was an inside job anyway, but that's for another day. But, so now, instead of that mindset of, well, you can't blame everybody just for the act of a few, but a few bad cops out there, and, they blame them all. Or a couple gun owners go out there and do something half-cocked, and then they want to ban all the guns, So, yeah, it's National Guard won't do much either. Most of the time they're out running around, their guns are empty. National Guard doesn't have a whole lot of authority. Oh yeah, speaking of Omar, I don't know if y'all caught this or not, but that Floyd and that cop, whatever his name was, the kneeler, they worked together at a bar. Well, come to find out, Omar actually has, I don't know if she owns it or not, but she got pretty high stake ownership in that bar. Don't know if it means anything, but... Now, I did not watch the funeral for Floyd, even though Pelosi gave him a folded up flag like military honors, which is sickening, but... definitely I think it's on purpose. But a lot of people are claiming that did watch the funeral that Floyd's not even dead. I've read some stuff here and there, people that screenshotted like some stuff from the funeral and done some measurements and whatnot, and they're like, well, he couldn't even fit in that casket, and the way they were bouncing it around and all that, you know, they couldn't have done all that if he was in it because it was too heavy. So, you know, I don't know, but I mean, I really can't say one way or another. I don't even want to make a judgment on that case. I mean, I will say, though, he wasn't worth all the mess that, you know, was going on. That he overdosed. Because a knee to the back of your neck, how's that going to stop you from breathing? You know, even some medical people have said that doesn't work. But he had fentanyl and coke and whatever else, you know. All that mess. So, he's not the saint that they made him out to be. Porn star too, I guess. Robbed that woman, put a gun to her stomach. She was pregnant and all that stuff. So, yeah, he was not an upstanding person by any means. EMTs couldn't show up. Not if the scene's not considered secure enough. But, you know, either way, though, I mean, it was just all too weird, you know? It was definitely enough for way past overdose levels. I'm not sure, Matt. What's it in reference to? I think I did. Is that the one with the kids that were found killed or something? I believe. Yeah, that was a sad story. But yeah, it takes very little fentanyl to kill you. I'm trying to sell my Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima stuff on eBay, but yeah, there are some straight evil people in this world. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. But yeah, I got. Let me find links real quick again. Let's see. I'll put them up in the chat. They probably won't sell, but I don't know. If they don't, I'll eat it. I don't care. See, that's the thing about selling food stuff on eBay. There's really no risk. Because if it don't sell, you eat it. I mean, I've said it many times before, but I made $80 profit selling 2 boxes of Twinkies a few years ago. That's like one of the crazier things I've sold. But it worked. Definitely, Matt. Definitely. They can shut you down in a heartbeat. I've been booted so many times. That's copyright violation. You can be sued over it in some cases. Normally they won't go that far, but you can be. Yeah, it's all copyrighted. By default. The problem with YouTube is, though, let's say you make a video, Matt, of anything, I don't know. You're sitting on your couch playing guitar. I can go copyright your video, make a claim against it. You can dispute the claim. But the problem is, it's always up to me whether I decide to release it and let you have it or if I want to take it down. YouTube does not check with whoever made the claim to find out if they truly own it. It's all just my word. If I say I own it, then I do. As long as nobody else has beat me to it first. I've actually seen channels that copyright their own stuff just to prevent others from doing that. Make a separate channel and go copyright it. That way they still get the money. Oh yeah, we got another protest up at the State House coming up really soon. The Luciferians, devil worshiping people, they're going to be up there. Yeah, you're not allowed. You just, a lot of times you can just get by with it. But, yeah, like him, woke.net, you know, yeah, if he wanted to, he could shut me down. Most of them don't really care too much. I mean, they're kind of too busy doing other stuff to really worry about it. But it's possible. I've been banned probably 9 or 10 times off of YouTube for it. $90-day ban each time. I've been hit a bunch off of YouTube. That's the reason I went over to Twitch. We used to stream live PD over here and we all got shut down. I mean, streams literally die right in the middle of it. They're dead. Well, yeah, A&E, yeah, but still, it's the same principle. Restreaming somebody else. But most of it's automated. I'd say 99% of the time when a stream gets shut down, it's automated. Because in the code, or whatever you want to call it, the metadata is what it is, there's little ID tags, and if something matches, they'll shut you down. That's how copyright strikes work. I get them all the time. Well, I don't have to worry about it now because I can't monetize anything. But if I'm live streaming anything, Hey, that's all that matters. But yeah, I've done my own live streams before. Actually, me at different areas around town have been shut down. Well, copyright strike, because a car will drive by and you'll get like 10 seconds worth of music, and they'll slam you for it. Music's the quickest way to get a strike. You just got to be careful. But if you're doing a regular, like legit YouTube channel, making your own videos and whatnot, then I would make a backup channel and do it that way. Then you can kind of do whatever, and if something happens, it's not the end of the world. And generally, I mean, if you've got I don't know how many subscribers you got, but yeah, exactly. So if you make a backup channel, and if you've got enough subscribers on your normal channel, you can generally get enough of them to go over to the other channel, and because I believe you got to have 1,000 subs or something before you can live stream, something like that. Like I say, I don't know how many you got, but yeah, that's kind of the best way. Yeah, I've been through this rodeo many times. It doesn't matter. Fair use is kind of a joke. That really doesn't matter. All right, I'll go over and give you a sub. That stuff's kind of right up my alley, so to speak. Yeah, 268 subscribers. Well, you just got another one. I don't think so. I think they're live. Yeah, the streams are live. Yeah, if you go to hey Matt, there's a neat website you can play around with. Social Blade. Socialblade.com. And you can type in anybody's YouTube channels, Twitch channels, whatever. And then you can watch the subscriber count go up or down live. See how much money they make. All kinds of information. And there are some loaded people on YouTube. Multi-millionaires. That never had hardly anything until they got on YouTube. Yeah, the Trump rally will be interesting. What time is the rally anyway? I'm not even sure. I'll be home, but I'm not sure what time it is. Yeah, they make a ton. They're one of the bigger channels. Crazy Russian Hacker that I watch all the time, he makes a bunch of money. Oh, okay. So that'll be 9 o'clock my time, I believe. I think Central's a couple hours behind me. But, yeah, Crazy Russian Hacker, that dude makes a fortune. And he was working at Walmart when he started. He's got, I don't know, 10 million subs, something like that. King of Random, that's a big channel. FPS Russia used to be the biggest. But he's no more. He had the best gun channel out there. But not anymore. He lost all that. All those guns that he had. And lost it all. I think he said he had like $500,000 in firearms. R-flat, it really varies. it's, I mean, the ad revenue can be all over the place, but it's usually around $1 or so for every 1,000 views. Now, FPS, he was allowed to own all that stuff himself. His partner just helped him find the stuff so he could buy it. The dude was loaded with money. He was a rich kid from birth, silver spoon in his mouth kind of deal. He was from Georgia anyway, Kyle. He wasn't Russian by any means like a lot of people thought. But he went to prison though. He got out, but he went though. All over a little bit of hash oil. See, the state arrested him first, and they had to throw that case out. But the feds are what got him. They said he looked suspicious for being outside of his house in a pair of shorts. And that, of course, don't mean anything. But then the feds come in, and when you got those kind of firearms, well, they can come in and check anytime they want. And they nailed him, unfortunately. He's still out there a little bit. He's got a gaming podcast thing that he does, but he was the biggest channel. Yeah, he had everything. I mean, if it was... I mean, he drove a tank to White Castle. I mean, the dude had it all. But yeah, I read like a lot of his backstory. When he was a kid, he got interested in guns, and his dad took him to a gun range, a skeet range, for, shotguns and stuff. And I guess he couldn't get enough time on the range or something that he wanted, so his dad just went up and bought the complex. He bought the entire range. It's like, if my boy wants it, he's going to get it. So they just bought the whole place for him. Then he could shoot all he wanted. But yeah, some crazy stuff. Hey, Matt, you talk about prepping and stuff, though. I mentioned this before, but I'm not sure what the chemicals were. It was on that Doomsday Preppers, though, on National Geographic. Guy lived in California, and guns were too hard to get, and this, that, and the other. So he wanted some protection, and he demonstrated it. He had a paintball gun. A pretty nice one. Full auto and all that. But he took the paintballs, took all the paint out of them, and he had a 50-50 mix. So half the balls in his hopper had one chemical, the other half had the other chemical. And when fired at a target, which he had a dummy with a flannel shirt on, but when those two chemicals mixed, it was instant fire. And that was going to be one of his weapons. And he had a pretty good stockpile of the chemicals. And I don't know what they were, but he said separate, the chemicals were 100% harmless. Get it on your skin, you could store it. It didn't make any difference. But once they mixed, there was like zero delay. It was instant. That's some ingenuity. Yeah, I don't know what they were exactly. They wouldn't say, but... I mean, they said, but they bleeped it out, Yep, inert, apart, instant fire together. I don't know what it was. To react... I mean, I could probably concoct something, but I don't know of anything that would react instantly. I don't know if I could find it. I watched it on TV. That's something I'm going to have to look for. I want to see if I can download a torrent or something and get a bunch of those Doomsday Prepper episodes. Yeah, I ain't got Netflix. But that would be cool to stream a bunch of preppers. I'd have to do it over on Twitch, but nevertheless, it'd be fun. I mean, some of those people are pretty out there, but you can learn a lot, though. Some of their ideas were pretty dangerous, though. Like, there was one that was, guy was prepping his house and his family because he was worried about viruses or some kind of thing. And he had a room, probably like an average bathroom, and he covered the walls, floor, ceiling, everything with shortwave UV lights. And those are very dangerous. I've got one, a low-powered one I use for my antique glass. It'll make old glass glow blue if there's lead in it. But to set in a room of shortwave, that will fry your skin. I mean, that's dangerous. But the guy had it rigged up. So, you know, you can't go by everything on those shows, but you can learn some stuff, though. I like the machine guns I saw on there, though, that this company invented for a customer. They could be automatic, so nobody had to touch it. Once you tripped the motion sensor, you was dead. Or they had it set up that the guy could operate his two machine guns from anywhere in the world off of his phone. I think one of the craziest guns that's on YouTube right now is from Black Rifle Coffee. It's Richard Ryan. He's got the 20 millimeter, it's a Vulcan machine gun off of a fighter jet. It's like $100,000 a minute just to shoot it, though, because the rounds are like crazy expensive. And he mounted it on a Prius. It works, though. It was like a decommissioned gun, but he spent like a couple years getting all kind of licensing and whatnot, and was able to get the gun and actually rebuild it and put it all together. Yeah, it's a, see if I can find a picture of it. Yeah, here we go. That's an M61 Vulcan. Well, you know, it's kind of one of them things. You pick the baddest gun you can get a hold of and put it on the most soy boy car, you know, you can imagine. And there you go. Let me find the specs of what it costs to actually shoot it. Hang on here. Because he says it in one of his videos. Let's see here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, M61 Vulcan is a 6-barrel rotary cannon. It can be found mounted to F-16s, F-18s, and F-22 fighter jets. 20 millimeter ammo, up to 6,600 rounds a minute. And they mounted one to a Prius. And, I mean, it definitely works. It took them a long time to do it all, though. Yeah, it's $27 per round. Electronic primers. So at 6,600 rounds a minute, that's $180,000 a minute, or $2,790 per second. So almost $3,000 a second. So you talking some money. Man, for daily carry, that's such a personal preference, Matt. My suggestion would be, and you may have heard this suggestion already, but find you a decent gun range that has guns you can rent, and rent a few. It might cost you a little bit, but it'll save you a ton of money in the long run. Well, it took a lot of modifications to get it to hold it, Sean. Definitely. But yeah, borrow some guns or rent some. I mean, there's just so many variables. I've got, the M&P Shield 9mm. But it's all, preference. 9mm is really the biggest you need, but I don't really want to get into the whole caliber war. But you've got a zillion ammo choices and they work. Yeah, I'm actually thinking of upgrading it, but I haven't made my mind up yet. .22 I would not advise for carry. 22 is not recommended. Because no matter what .22 ammo you get, it's rimfire. It's not that reliable. Just having rounds in your range bag getting knocked around can cause them not to fire. So I wouldn't advise that. Definitely go center fire. I mean, there are people that carry .22s, like you say, but I wouldn't advise it. If you got an option and are capable of doing something bigger, go for it. I mean, you can look on YouTube. I mean, there's a video for every gun you can imagine to kind of give you some ideas. But, and I wouldn't buy anything that's brand new to the market. I mean, of course, buying a brand new gun is fine, but not brand new to the market. Let guns be out there for a while before you go buy one. I don't care who makes it. Because they always have problems. Let other people deal with that. Find something tried and true, reliable, and be fine. Well, High Point's alright. If you run out of ammo, you can beat them in the head with it. That thing's a brick. They're reliable, though. And cheap. But I wouldn't want to carry it. That thing be heavy. I had the Taurus PT-111. I sold it, but I liked it. And it was, it's a low-cost gun. But after about 1,200 rounds, the slide came apart on me and cut my hand. Now, granted, I mailed it back. And they fixed it and I got it back and all that. But yeah, 9 and... yeah, High Point, forget it. They're too bulky. They're not even worth it. But yeah, the shield's, very small. You don't want something too small, though. Too small can be hard to shoot. So you gotta find your Goldilocks zone. I mean, they've got some micro, almost 9mm out there, but they're snappy. They're hard to shoot. You know. I was going to upgrade to the Performance Center shield. It's got a better trigger, better sights, but it's got a ported barrel. And I don't think I want a ported barrel on a carry gun. I've got a 357 ported, but that's a different animal altogether. But for a carry gun, nah. That could be kind of bad for you if you've got to do some up close stuff. Mine doesn't, but I think they make models that do. Yeah, mine's too big to carry. 357, forget that. That thing weighs a ton. Matt, what state are you in? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, okay. Yeah, North Carolina, you got to have a permit just to buy a gun. That's stupid. Pistol, anyway. Just to be able to go buy it. But, so I don't know how it would work there as far as private sales. But if you can do private sales in your state, look on Arms List. Arms List is all private sellers. Well, there's some dealers on there, but you can filter them out. And you can get some really good deals on there. Of pretty much anything you want. Usually just exchange carry permits, and that's good enough to suffice for anybody. Yeah, I'm in college too, but luckily mine's online. Even though the campus is only 2 miles down the road, but I take it online. It's a whole lot easier. I didn't really see the point in going to an actual campus. Yeah, you can gift a gun, do whatever. It's no big deal. Yeah, the M&P series, they've been out forever and they're tried and true. So that's what I meant. You know, you want something that's been out for a while, and not necessarily. I've never had an issue with a used gun. You just got to check it out. You know, there's really not much to look at. And you can get some really good deals. Yeah, there's really not much to really look at. And like I say, you can save a bunch of money. But yeah, Arms List is pretty good. You can select by your state and get, you know, whatever. And it keeps you under the radar. That's another thing. You know, it's nobody's business what you want to buy. Well, guys, it's been a long night. There really ain't nothing going on. It's almost 20 after 2, and I got to be up at about 4 hours. But if you want to drop a nickel into my till there, you know, I would appreciate it. Thanks for all the, you know, support and everything. Yeah, there's a huge yard sale just about a mile out of town. It's a whole great big housing development. And I want to hit it in the morning and see what I can find. As a lot of you know, I collect antique glass. So that's one of my hobbies, I guess you'd say. And I've got quite a bit of it. I will show you all a piece I bought recently. I think I still got a picture here. Y'all might like this. As soon as I find it here right quick. Let's see. Okay, here it is. There's a couple pieces I recently bought. Yeah, that is my PayPal me link. I don't know why it adds on that extra junk. But yeah, that's some of the oldest glass I've got. I've got a few pieces in that particular pattern. But that's from 1877. And under a black light, it'll glow green under a normal black light and blue under shortwave. So that's pretty cool. I've got a picture of that. I'll show real fast. And of course, I'm still working on my glass turkey collection. Yeah, here it is. Not the best picture. This was an old camera, but yeah, the PayPal me thing, I don't know. It logged me out, so hang on. Yeah, when I copy the link, it gives me that weird one. That's what it gives me. But clickable, though. But yeah, that's from 1877. It's the same pattern. But you got the normal light, the long wave, which is your normal black light, and then short wave, which is blue. Blue is from the lead. Manganese in the glass is from is why it turns green. So if you ever see any old glass, like yard sale, thrift shop, wherever, and it's slightly purple, then that's why, because that manganese in it will make it turn purple. And collectors usually consider it damaged. That's a personal preference kind of deal. But yeah, that's just some of the stuff that I've got. I do have the excuse me, the world's largest collection of my glass turkeys, though. Let's see. Find me a good picture of them here. I got one somewhere. I've got 3 more turkeys I'll be getting soon, but not as of yet. Trying to find the image. I think you all like this. Just 1 second here. I just got too many pictures. Yeah, I got a whole file of them somewhere. Here's an older picture. That's one of my older photos. Not the more up-to-date one. Because for some reason I can't seem to find it. But that's a lot of turkeys. But yeah, like I say, I've got a bunch more. I just can't locate it at the moment for some unknown reason. I've been moving stuff around on this computer that stuff tends to disappear on me. But yeah, I've got, like I say, quite the collection, I guess you could say. They done the Toothpick Collector Society on Facebook. They done a big article write up on me a couple years ago, so that was pretty neat. Some of them are kind of rare, some of them not so much. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. And we'll probably be back on here again tomorrow to do something. I ain't exactly sure what, but we'll definitely do something. So take it easy, guys. Stay safe. Excuse me. And I will catch you all on the next one. And real quick, though, I found the picture that I was looking for. There you go. That's the majority of my collection. I'm going to have to re-update my pictures once I get my other ones back from the factory, but that's my collection. I've got one new color still to buy. And what's made the collection difficult is buying 2 of each color, trying to find them. And then I keep one normal, like, I don't know, like this one here. Keep that one normal, as clear, and then I send the other one off back to the factory. They dip it in acid, and it turns into a satin finish, which is frosted. So I do that with all of them, except the carnival colors, because that would destroy them. But the rest of them, like I got pink, and then normal pink, jadeite, which was sold through Martha Stewart's catalog back in the 90s. So I got a bunch of work to do as far as taking pictures and making a display. And my goal is, probably next month when I go pick everything up, they're going to sell me a chunk of what they call cullet, which is the scrap glass. Just a big blob of glass, more or less. I'm going to get a decent sized chunk of it and give it to my neighbor, because he works at the funeral home and engraves tombstones. And he's going to engrave the company logo onto the chunk of glass. And then once I get that all done, I got 2 wooden step ladders. I'm going to set those up. Probably cover them with a blanket or something. But since it's got the different steps, I can put all the turkeys on the 2 ladders, run a board in between both of them, lay the big chunk of glass in the middle, and then take some pictures that way. Because as it is right now, it's impossible to photograph. Because you can't, when you lay them all out, they're either behind each other or something. You got to have different levels or it don't work. I put that collage together out of individual pictures. But just thought I would show it off. They started making those back in the 70s. And like I say, some of them they still make today. So that's it for tonight, guys. Take it easy. Stay safe. And if anything crazy kicks off, we'll do it again. And go over if you can. If you don't have an account, make one. And stupid music. But go over to twitch.com. I'm going to post a link. And follow my channel over there. Because I'm going to do some more streams over there. I can get by with more. So go hit that link. Go sign up. And I'll do the Trump rally over there. And maybe some other things. But I can, like I said, I can do a lot more. I do movies over there. TV shows. All that stuff. So yeah, just click on it and just leave it alone if you want. You can sign up later. It's 2:30 in the morning. But just hang on to it so you got the link. And it's a lot of fun over there. So take it easy, and I'm going to bed. Thanks for all the support again, guys. Y'all are great.